And then Catherine, are you able? Oh, there we go. All right. As I mentioned, everyone, thank you so much for coming. This session is going to be recorded, so you all will get a recording of it once we log off here, probably within a couple of days, but welcome. Today, we're going to talk about cybersecurity and just do an info session on our program. We're going to jump right into the agenda here. So we'll do a little intro of us as the host. My name is Alyssa, and I'll be your main host for the evening, or I guess it's not evening, it's afternoon, but be the main host for the afternoon. And then I'll also intro someone from our career service team who will be on the team too. His name is Scott. So we'll get into that here in a couple minutes. We'll talk a little bit about Flatiron School, who we are. We'll do a brief overview of what cybersecurity engineering is and the things that we cover within our program. We'll talk a little bit about the admissions process. We'll go over some statistics from our jobs report, which is very exciting. And then I'll kick it off and send it over to Scott, who will talk a little bit about career service and how we help students get jobs. So he'll go over that. Like I said, we'll leave some time for Q&A at the end, and then we'll dive into some next steps for you all. So excited to get started here. And again, if you have questions, please use the Q&A function so that we keep track of those questions. We can answer those at the end. So again, my name is Alyssa. I am a lead here on our admissions team. I've been working at Flatiron School for almost 2 years, which is super exciting. My background is in event management and event planning. I also have my master's in human resources. I am a big fan of education. You can see some fun facts about me there. But as I mentioned, I'm based out of Tampa, Florida, but really excited to talk to you guys about cybersecurity. As you can see, education is my passion, and I definitely want to give you guys the most information that we can so that, if you decide you want to join Flatiron School and join this thing called cybersecurity, we put our best foot forward. So my co-host today is Scott Bowman. Scott, you want to say hi?
Hey everyone, my name is Scott Bowman. I'm Senior Manager of Career Coaching for Cybersecurity and Enterprise Programs here at Flatiron School. I have over 13 years of career services experience at this point, including working with a variety of programs out there, but really specializing in higher education and bootcamp training. I've actually been with Flatiron School since around September 2019, so I've been here for a while, and I've had the privilege of seeing thousands of job seekers progress into incredible jobs during that time and through the pandemic as well.
Awesome.
I'm really quick here.
Yeah.
I have a master's degree in higher education leadership. I'm originally from Wisconsin, so I've seen some people here from the Midwest. You may hear it occasionally, but currently reside in Denver, Colorado, and I'm very happy to be here. I have a wife, 2 dogs, 3 cats. We're constantly out hiking. I'm a former college track cross-country athlete. I'm again, really get a great opportunity to work with and interact with a wide variety of cybersecurity professionals. Such an incredibly welcoming industry to the extent that I am a cybersecurity professional, right? And that said, I may not be a technical cybersecurity professional, but, I do get to help people learn within this field, bring awareness to the field, as well as facilitate those connections within the industry. And that is a capacity of a cybersecurity professional kind of within specific niche within this industry. And what you'll find is that cybersecurity is extremely diverse, and there'll be a lot of opportunities for you as well to make an impact as a professional. So thank you all so much. And there we go.
Yeah, thanks so much, Scott. We'll definitely dive into that later on, and we'll be able to ask him specific questions too that hopefully he can help answer as well. So let's dive into it. So a little bit about Flatiron School. We were founded back in 2012. So we've been in the industry for about 11 years or so. We're one of the founding boot camps out there. So we have a lot of experience with a lot of diverse group of students. As Scott mentioned, we've helped thousands of students get jobs in the tech field, not just in cybersecurity, but we also offer we also offer software engineering, data science, and product design as well. So if you guys are interested in those programs, we do offer them. As Scott mentioned, we do have a couple of local campuses. We have one in New York City in Manhattan, and we also have one downtown in Denver, Colorado. So if you guys are interested in pursuing in-person classes, those are great locations to do that. We also offer all of our courses online as well. So all of our virtual classrooms and virtual students, we love to interact with and connect with so that you guys have access to that same education. We'll go a little bit more in depth in this later on in the presentation, but we do have many graduates that work through this proven job search framework. So definitely want to dive deeper into that, because probably the main reason that y'all are here. But let's dive a little bit more into cybersecurity as a whole. So for our programs, we do offer two options. We have a live course and then a flexible course. Our live courses do offer two options. So you can do full-time in person, which would mean a Monday through Friday schedule that you would either be in our Manhattan campus or Denver campus, or we also have an online option where you would be logged into a Zoom call just like this. This program does run for 15 weeks, depending on your location in the universe. Will depend on what times those classes run, but it is a very set schedule. It's like you're going to work for those 8-9 hours a day. There is lunch breaks built in, so you're not fully, just going straight at cybersecurity for 8 hours. There is some variation within your day, but if you do want more information about that, we can definitely dive into that later on. We also offer a flexible option to our students as well. So for those of you that do have a busy schedule, either you've got kiddos, you work full time, you have other time commitments to where maybe your work schedule is a little bit less flexible or a little bit more rigid to where you don't know when you're going to be working week to week, you could do our flexible program. It does say about 40 to 60 weeks. That's if you're going at more of a part-time capacity, about 20 to 25 hours per week that you're spending on the program. But you're not limited to that. So if you do have additional hours, you can totally do it faster if that's what you like. There is still plenty of support, even though it is going to be asynchronous or on your own. You'll have one-on-ones with your instructor. There's technical coaches available, mostly nights and weekends. Some programs we do have more availability, but they're available via chat, or they'll jump on a Zoom call with you and help you get unstuck if you need it. There's also some different live sessions that we offer throughout the week as well, if you can join, but they're definitely not required. But that option is available only online. So there's that. Perfect. So why you guys are all here. A little bit about cybersecurity. If you don't already know, I'm sure a lot of you have done research into this field already. But really, in short, our cybersecurity is protecting systems from cyber attacks so people can operate safely. That's hardware, that's software, that's physical, that's virtual assets that you're learning how to protect. And as you can see on this slide here, they have different job titles that you'll see out in the world: cybersecurity engineering, security analyst, or security consultant. So what all does this mean? Obviously, we know some of those probably buzzwords that you guys have heard, but in our cybersecurity engineering course, you will learn kind of the following. You'll do some fundamentals with network systems, threat intelligence. You'll learn coding. You will do a bit of coding in Python is the main language that we teach. You'll get into applied cryptography, some governance in like risk and compliance side. logs and detections. You'll get into application security and pen testing, which I'm sure some of you might already have heard about that, where you kind of try to infiltrate different systems to help companies figure out, where their vulnerabilities are. So there's some really, really awesome stuff. Our course is a survey course, so it's a little bit of everything. The cool part about cybersecurity is that it can be applied to several different industries, and there's so many different opportunities out there, which I'm sure Scott will get into a little bit further on. But you will also do some projects while you're in the course. They'll all be compiled into a capstone project, which really will serve as your applicable job experience and hands-on experience once you get out into the work world. You'll also do some different labs. And then, as we mentioned before, those are some different job titles that our students are able to get once the course is done. So that's a little bit about what cybersecurity engineering is. How does this work at Flatiron School? I mentioned a little bit about, obviously how our course works, what you'll be studying, but how do we help you get a job, right? That's like the whole goal of you probably going back to school and investing your time and money in this thing that is cybersecurity. So we have our admissions team. Like I said, that's where I work, which helps you decide, is this a good fit? Do you have enough time to do our full-time program? Do you have the right resources? Are you able to get funding? Different things that we kind of help walk you through, so that you can make sure that not only, are we a good fit for what you're looking for, but we also want to make sure that you're the type of student that we're looking for as well. So we'll have a conversation about that, and I'll talk a little bit more about the admissions process down the road. You'll also have an onboarding representative. So once you decide to commit to the course, they'll kind of help you from the end of an admissions process to day one of class, making sure you're all ready to go. You'll also have an instructor. Those are those one-on-ones that I mentioned, or they'll be leading your class in the full-time program. I mentioned this before too, but technical coaches, so people that are there online, or often sometimes they're in person depending on your program. But they're students that have taken the course before or work in the industry and want to help students like you help achieve their goals. So they're there to help with any additional support, since our classes are about 25-1. Sometimes the instructor can't get to everybody. So we do offer some additional support in that regard. You also will have a student advisor, and this is mainly for our flexible programs. The student advisor is there to help keep you on track. Like this mentions, they're non-technical, so they're not going to help you with your homework or if you get stuck, but they'll talk about game plans and strategies and additional support that you might need from your instructor, or just check in and say, hey, how are you doing? How best can we support you? That's their role. And then you also have career coaches. So you'll do a few workshops with the team while you're in the program, mainly to help with things like your resume and your LinkedIn profile, kind of everything to build your brand, which Scott will talk about, in the next couple of minutes here. But then you'll also get matched one-on-one with a career coach after you're done. And they'll help you work through this proven framework that we're talking about, and really help you figure out what your goals are after the course is done, and help you get there from point A to point B, and hopefully landing your first job in cybersecurity, which I would love to jump in a little bit more to here. So a little bit about our admissions process. I know I would expand on this a little bit. So we do have an application. It's a written application. There's 2 questions that you'll answer. You'll want to make sure that they're thoughtful, and you really take your time with those. There's also a 15-minute assessment. It's a non-technical assessment, so more so critical thinking, problem solving, kind of determining your aptitude for the program. You'll do a 20-minute interview with an admissions representative like myself, and then we'll be able to determine if you are able to be admitted into the program. And then we'll also talk about different scholarships that we offer. Once that application process and interview process is completed and you have your admissions decision and you decide, yep, Flatiron School is the right fit for me. You'll submit your $99 deposit. You'll also make sure to confirm your start date, because we do have specific start dates for all of our cohorts, depending on if you're doing a full-time or a part-time program. You'll determine what that looks like, but we'll confirm that start date once you pay your deposit. And then you'll be passed off to our onboarding team, who will help you with things like I mentioned, financing. There's some enrollment documents that you'll complete. And then there's also different levels of prep work that you're going to complete as well before day one of class. But really those kind of set the foundation for you to start class. So that's a little bit more about the admissions process. Oops, I went too quickly. There we go. A little bit more about tuition and financing. We do offer some different flexible payment options. We have an upfront option. Our full program for cybersecurity is $16,900. So you can pay that totally upfront after the initial deposit. You can do an installment plan, which is 12 months, 0 interest. We do also offer 2 different loan partners that we work with, Ascent and Climb, which have some different flexible options in terms of maybe some interest only or possible deferment until after the course is completed. All of this is listed on our website, and I can definitely drop a link for you guys to check that out to look more in depth. On the bottom of our tuition page as well, which I'll drop the link to, has our scholarships that we offer. We have some rotating ones that come through. We have 3 that we offer right now, one for women in tech, an access scholarship, and then also a merit scholarship currently. So take a look at those. Definitely ask your admissions representative if you qualify for one, if you can apply, because we love to be able to provide access to students to be able to take our program. So that's a little bit about tuition and financing. I know I mentioned this earlier, but we are so excited about our outcomes and our jobs report. It just was released a few months ago, but it's really, really exciting stuff that we get to share with you. For cybersecurity, 80% of our cybersecurity grads who completed a job search cycle, over 30% accepted a job within about 30 days. And over 80% accepted a job within the reporting period, which is really, really great outcomes. Also, 70% of our cybersecurity grads who accepted offers within the reporting period, they accepted full-time salaried roles. So that is pretty incredible. And then the next stat just kind of talks about average starting salary. So for cybersecurity grads who accepted full-time salary roles, so those people that did accept a job within the reporting period and disclosed their compensation to us, the average starting salary was about $67,000, which is pretty incredible to be starting out in tech, and starting at that high of a salary is really, really great. So I know you all are probably very curious about how students go about getting these roles, especially if you maybe don't have any exposure to tech or cybersecurity, but this is where I would love to pass it off to Scott to talk a little bit more about that.
So, a question I'd like to start off with, and I'm sure many of you are thinking about that, is why am I here, right? And I know many of you probably in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I like to solve problems, right? I like to solve puzzles, right? I want to be a force for good, right? I want to prevent cyber attacks from happening to other people, right? I want to challenge myself, right? And find ways to grow and become a different person, or live a different lifestyle, live a different life that I really have long sought after, right? And for many people, the thought of a career in cybersecurity is, out of reach. They seemingly out of reach. But the reality is that the industry 100% needs you. As of April 2023, there are over 750,000 total unfilled job openings in cybersecurity. So I just wanted to leave off of that. The industry is diversifying extremely quickly, and there is a need for you and me in this industry, right? By completing the cybersecurity program and graduating successfully at Flatiron School, you will be eligible for career coaching, right? But that said, you will be involved in career workshops during the program, as Alyssa had mentioned. You will get the opportunity to have your LinkedIn and your resume reviewed by a cybersecurity specialist within our team as well, to really help you get those head starts and make great strides during your program so you can feel job ready as you're getting out there in the market. And what's more, we will pair you once you graduate with your own dedicated one-on-one career coach, right? Someone, again, who is this cybersecurity specialist who really understands the successes as well as barriers that students face in making that career change, right? In addition, you will get even more resume review. Will help you in launching your online and personal brand, which is extremely professional in feeling confident about what you want to do and sharing really where your interests are and using that as a way to connect with other people within this industry. Cybersecurity is a zero trust industry. So having conversations with people that work in cybersecurity, although it seems scary, I think cybersecurity people oftentimes feel like these hooded figures who are working anonymously, in a basement somewhere. But the reality is that there are hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals right now on LinkedIn or out at events all around us, interacting with people who want to get in the industry and may not have nearly the amount of education or training that you will gain from our program, right? And so we really elevate that training by helping you maximize what you bring to the market, right? Which is valuable. The industry needs problem solvers and people coming from other disciplines who have demonstrated that success. Past performance indicates future success within the industry. And the reality is that, you will put that aptitude to test within this industry, and it is extremely welcomed, right? Companies are forced to get creative. And although at surface level, looking and doing a very basic search, you may see certain skills or experience that seems very abstract to you. That is something that you can learn. It is something that you can gain. And when you apply yourself, it is something that you can do and be a cybersecurity professional to fill those shoes, right? And that is what our program gives you, right? Career coaches, again, are going to help you advocate for yourself within that industry and help you demonstrate the unique value that you bring to that industry to solve a problem, which is we can't find skilled or trained talent within this industry. So that said, along the way, along your job search, right, you will get resume, cover letter, online networking, in-person event networking, support. You will have access to our online internal job portal as well, where you can identify employers that want to hire our grads and put yourself out there in order to capitalize on those roles and again, solve a problem and fill that gap. We'll help you with research, applications, professional networking support. And again, we have a team of individuals who are dedicated to funneling those opportunities and that demand from our employer network to our students. So with all of these resources at your disposal, we, take out as much risk as possible in making that career transition. But it's ultimately up to you to capitalize on that, right? And you can kind of see here in the bottom left corner that pathway, right? We offer that structure, which is much needed in a job search in order to succeed, right? And we're going to take a very holistic approach to get to know you as an individual and help uplift those skills that you bring to the table. And as Alyssa had mentioned earlier, we have a proven job search framework that has helped over 7,000 students, find jobs within their technical career pathways. And we know that it works, right? So we will really help you develop those skills, those habits, and overcome those barriers to help you succeed within that industry, right? And we are very, very proud of all those lives that we've changed and all of those professionals who are currently working out there in the market. And they continue to provide us that feedback loop, right? What are those things that we need to do to improve our curriculum? What are those things that we need to do to improve our job search success for students, right? And they advocate for our students within their specific companies. So tapping into that alumni community, tapping into that network is always going to really help you too. If you can reach out, ask questions, that always helps to have an advocate or a partner in this, as opposed to doing it completely by yourself, right? And that's really a core part of our philosophy, is that you have this entire team of support around you, and that team is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Love that. Thanks so much, Scott. I always tell my students when I talk to them, like, we're not preparing you just for the first job after Flatiron School, but also you will have all of these skills to then, replicate that into the next role that you're getting. So it's not for a lack of info that you get from Flatiron School, that's for sure. Oops. I don't know how that happened, but anyways, all right. I am just going to talk a little bit about this. I'll kind of glaze over this slide. I mean, not that I want to glaze over this slide, because this is awesome. These are a lot of really wonderful companies that have hired our grads. I'm sure you guys have recognized a few of these in our portfolio and probably seen them on the website, but like Scott mentioned, there's a lot of people that work at these really great companies that were in your shoes at one point, so they're always happy to connect and just even chat about next steps and what that looks like for you, and how to kind of get to a Spotify or a Google or some of these other companies for sure. This is the part 2, now that we kind of have come to the conclusion of our event here, but I would love to open the floor up to you guys to ask any additional questions. Looks like we've got one here in the chat from Andy. It says, after one completes the cyber boot camp, what would be some potential certifications one might be ready for to test or gain? Scott, I'll let you take that away.
Excellent question. Excellent question. Yeah, so what we actually find is that the vast majority of our students do not need certifications to, get an entry-level job within cybersecurity. However, our program is highly aligned with an internationally recognized certifier, so to speak, global leader CompTIA. And so a lot of our students will pursue, or I'd say a good portion of our students will at least study for the Security Plus, because there is an incredible amount of material that is free and available out there. The certification itself is within a more tangible price range, as opposed to other certifications that one could obtain. But that said, your employer will train you the way that they need you to be trained. And oftentimes that means learning the tools of the trade. And there are certifications for those as well, right? So certifications may open doors as well on the DoD side for many employers. But we also find that a lot of those employers offer up to 6 months in that company to obtain the certification, post-hire, right? And so your continued employment beyond that point is contingent that you receive. But we find that most of our students can typically complete that certification and are ready for it within a month of graduation. Very simple, very easy. Again, it's not just the certifications that companies are looking for. They're looking for that hands-on experience, that the actual time in seat using the tools of the trade of a security analyst or of a security engineer. And the certification is a good way to then continue to validate those skills that you gained across an industry or like just a global standard, right? So there's a lot of benefits, and I think some people do it too because they just want to learn more and they want to check for their skills gaps. Oftentimes they're surprised at how much they know and that they're more ready for the exam than they had originally anticipated. But any number of searches, you can find tons of lists of the best certification providers, the best top 10 certifications in the industry. I'd say about 150 to 200,000 jobs open right now are asking for or prefer the Security Plus, in addition to the wide variety of skills that our students are gaining from the program. So really great question.
Yes, great question. I feel like I get that question a lot, and I love how you answer that, Scott. And I feel like if you're getting into a career in tech, you got to just be okay with being a constant learner, because there's always new things that are coming out, new languages, new everything. We see that daily changing in tech. So thanks so much. Looks like we've got a question from Kat here. If I don't want to work for a company after I graduate, what type of projects can I work on by myself as a freelancer? Scott, you want to answer that question?
That's a really, really great question. I really like that kind of entrepreneurial spirit. And honestly, in this industry, providing cybersecurity as a service is growing just as fast, if not faster, than security products themselves. So, a lot of these large companies and even small companies, it could be a barber shop down the street, they need to protect their customer data in a meaningful way. And so they're saying, well, I don't know how to do this. I can't afford a cyber professional. What do I do? Well, they're going to partner with a service that may provide that as a resource, right? In addition to maybe getting technology, maybe some IT support, et cetera. But that's the reality. And many of them will partner with their internet service providers to provide an added layer of security, et cetera. But security services are really continuing to grow. So that said, there are a lot of small contractors or small companies that, what the crazy thing about government contracting is that a one-person LLC can compete with a large company like Lockheed Martin for these massive billion-dollar cybersecurity contracts, right? That's not always the case, but a lot of times these contractors or prime contractors will then outsource to subcontract to subcontractors, right? Maybe a smaller entity to solve certain aspect of that task. That's a lot, but basically what I'm saying is there's a lot of opportunity out there in the long term, and especially right now, to provide security as a service. That said, I would not necessarily say that every single student, every single person is going to be ready to do that right off the bat. There's always a benefit to partnering with someone else and learning from them, or asking questions and doing your research and talking to other people who are doing that to figure out what kind of barriers you might encounter.
Right.
Great
Thank
question.
you. Yeah, that's a really great question. Like I mentioned previously in the presentation, like you can go so many different directions with cybersecurity. It really depends on, what's your niche? What do you enjoy the most? I think I love that about Flatiron School and our program, that it is a survey course. So you get to dabble in a little bit of everything. And then you can decide, do I want to specialize in systems or networks or risk and compliance? There's a lot of that opportunity out there as well, of kind of talking to different companies about their privacy policies, or how many logins do you have for your, employees, and how many times do they have to change their password? Like things like that, that even companies will hire people to take a look at and evaluate for them. So awesome. I know there's a couple of other questions here in the chat. Catherine, I don't know, do we have a little bit more time? I know I have a little bit more time, but I know we're at time. I definitely want to make sure that these questions get answered.
I'm fine to hang out.
Okay, perfect. Great. I know there was some questions about curriculum. I am not quite sure how to answer those specifically, so I might send a follow-up on that one. And then just talking about Flatiron School differentiation between, other boot camps. Like I mentioned previously, we've been around for now 11 years. And so I really think we are a leader in the boot camp space. We're one of the first ones to kind of take non-traditional education route to tech. So I think we've had a lot of that experience and exposure. We've been able to perfect our curriculum in those years, perfect our career coaching, like Scott mentioned. I feel like our career coaching matches any other program out there, especially in cybersecurity, when you've got people like Scott on your team that have been around for a number of years and have helped students in this space. Like we have such experts that work on our team and have had students with so many different backgrounds. Like you definitely should not be afraid if you have no experience going into this, like getting a job after, because we will help you in whatever way that we can. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Scott.
Yeah, this industry, there's something new every single day, right? Prep yourself to be a learner, but that is one of the most exciting parts of it, right? And that said, we have been through a lot. We've helped a lot of people, but we are also constantly learning, right? And applying new best practices and adapting to the market, right? AI is a really great example, and it's now really forefront in how we're thinking about solving a lot of problems out there. And in terms of, am I good enough for this industry, right? I really like to challenge you to go and search Naomi Buckwalter on LinkedIn. She's a really great advocate. She does just really spot on podcasts and brings thought leaders from all over the industry in, and she, helps make cybersecurity that much more approachable, right? That said, we are also helping students and job seekers every single day, come up against unexpected barriers in their job search and finding innovative ways to really overcome those barriers. So I want to say one of the things that really differentiates us is our problem-solving capacity as this massive team of career services, as well as our representation out there in the market, right? I'd say virtually every Fortune 500 company has a Flatiron School alumni. And that said, that's giving us a lot of great feedback loop to say, our skills are in demand within the market. And B, it also opens up a lot of doors for anyone who should want to pursue a career within those companies to learn from those proven pathways, right? To learn from those successes, right? And go against that grain, right? Great example, I've been more frequently seeing people with absolutely zero experience, and you can kind of take a look at this on our website, getting jobs as senior engineers in cybersecurity. And so I highly recommend that you stay engaged, stay on top of things. Even right now, start to dip your toes into, what would cybersecurity learning look like for me, right? What are the cybersecurity professionals saying out there? What are the cybersecurity industry reports saying about the growth of cybersecurity? I can tell you the industry is continuing to grow by 35% from 2021 to 2031 in the next decade or so. And we haven't seen any slowdown as a result of the pandemic. And in fact, since 2019, we've seen that demand double, right? And so it's only been exacerbated by that increased demand in, these more technical or remote kind of workforces, right, for secure environments to do their jobs. So that said, you can be part of that growth, and I hope to be part of your journey as well.
Yes, I love that. That's a great ending point. And I know there's a few more questions in the chat there. All of this information is listed on our website. If you go to flatironschool.com and click on courses, you can click on cybersecurity. There is a list of start dates available. So if you're thinking about starting soon, definitely check that out. There is some other information too that you can connect with your admissions representative. You can always also schedule a 10-minute chat if you just want a little bit more information from our team as well. Again, if you're thinking about applying, flatironschool.com/apply. And then you can always schedule either an interview with our team once you do apply, and we can answer a lot of your questions there, or we do also offer 10-minute chats with some of our other admissions team members as well, if you just want a bit more information. But that's all the time that we have for today, guys. We will definitely take record of your chats and questions if we didn't get those answered, and follow up. Would love to hopefully see you guys in an interview here soon, and have a good rest of your day. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.